Hi, Cancer. I was just looking at your notes and I wrote them a few weeks ago. And I was like, And I was like really pleasantly surprised at how accurate it feels to the conversation I think you might be having in your life with yourself and with others. This is the Venusian Wave. I am the Venusian Wave. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. We are the Venusian Wave. Making life beautiful. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, more information is below. The Patreon link will be the first link below by the time this comes out. You are last but not least. I needed to wait because Mars moved into Cancer, and I just wanted to see because, already being such a naturally communicative sign and able to pick up on subtle cues, and regardless of where that is in your life or how far you've come in learning that, there's something very clear that is being brought to your attention in terms of what Mars and Gemini brought, and then what has actually settled down and becoming something that you are not only offering in your life, but offering to yourself. Is this new point of view, this new shift, this ability to not only do these kinds of things for yourself when you're under pressure, and we know cardinal signs like sometimes a challenge in that way, or to have that point of view of, I need to do this, so now it's time. And of course that's really helpful in spontaneity, but when it's coming from being stuck for so long and you're moving out of that, what you've needed to realize is how much you maybe have been through and the hard things, but you also need to see the good things that you decided to turn to, and why you've gotten and how you've gotten as far as you can. You need to be able to see that yin and yang as you move forward. And what Virgo season is helping you become aware of is your capabilities. Are that the strength that you have, the independence that you have, but that coming together in connection and alignment with yourself is helpful in communicating what it is and where it is that you're meant to move forward. Because what I think Mars in Cancer is bringing to the table for you, specifically Cancer risings, is that you're not able to be as indirect with yourself. That's actually not caring anymore. And what I wrote down from a while ago is like the movie Click. Interesting. And it's that movie with Adam Sandler. And it's when he's fast forwarding through the times in his life that are difficult, but then by the time, as his life continues, that keeps happening. And then by the time he's at the end of his life, it's like he forgot everything, or he didn't remember anything, or his life felt like it moved fast. He started to realize that he made that the habit, the programming in the remote, which transferred then into his life and became the habit of anytime this happens, we fast forward, we move through it. And you can think about anytime that you're doing something so quick, that may not be exactly why you may not want to be transitioning through those moments, because it will feel uncomfortable. But Mars in Cancer is inviting you to them in a way that is easier for you to communicate, because it's you, and and you can sense the feeling and the care in it. The deeper roots of what Gemini was maybe Mars and Gemini was overstimulating in you, maybe even bringing you towards even triggers or those hard conversations in Cancer, is not solidifying, but making you very aware in the most caring way. Like how you learn, right, is the most caring way. And sometimes we can get mad at the universe for being so obvious. We can get mad at others for saying it how it is, or we can get mad at or be triggered. Of course, that's another word. But for Cancer risings, Pluto is reversed back into Capricorn for the last time in your house of commitment and partnership. And a part of commitment and being in partnership is also being able to commit to yourself and trust yourself. And something that I told another sign, I don't remember who, that came up in the field is that that's a part of the restructuring of the brain and the neuroscience and the waters that you don't always have control over. Your brain needs repetition, and you can give yourself repetition, but if it's something that challenges you in a way that tests who you are, it can be very difficult sometimes for you to show up if you don't know what the temperature is on the other side. You're up for a challenge, but it's not unless you're testing your ego in a way that feels good to you. And this isn't about whether it feels good to you or not, it's whether it's the most care for you or not. And I believe with Mars in Cancer in your first house, if you are Cancer rising, and if you're a Cancer sun, this will affect you in a similar way. So you'll notice throughout this reading what it is, when it is I'm talking to you. And Pluto transiting the 7th, and having you master it. So it's going to be, for everyone, wherever Capricorn is in their chart, it's going to be the hardest tests. And it's going to start from what was the hardest in the beginning to what's the hardest at the end. And that's how you transcend, that's how you transform. It's not just this one full swoop that we always see it happening. It's the whole story. It's the story coming together. It's another climactic moment, but it's that where you can't really guess the end of this one. This one is like, okay, well, we can go in this direction or that direction, but it's up to the writer, it's up to the director, it's up to you, right? And what you're being told is something so very loving, and it could be coming from the person that you're in love with, or you could be getting messages from spirit or connecting with someone who is very deeply in touch with the sky, with the air, but also with their feelings, and you're getting this opportunity to receive this in the most loving way. And it feels so much louder. It becomes more of an echo. It becomes such a ripple effect that it's like getting the chills. Like the ripple effect is also the chills that we feel deeply to the core. So there's that. And that's why it's so loud to you. When we're triggered or when we feel something so deeply when something happens or a situation, no matter who's bringing it to us, it's for us. It's for that person. Sometimes it's for the other person to be able to observe an experience like that. So it's up to you on how much control you feel in that moment. But a lot of the times you usually let yourself out of control enough to experience and let the experience be had, which is why, and one of your most magical qualities, and why we love you. Because what you also realize is, like, you call it like it is for other people a lot of the time, in this caring way, in this way that helps them, in this way that supports them. And I think what you've realized during the past few years in your season is that you are able to also do that for yourself in a way that is just as helpful as it is for others, as it is to yourself, but it's also being able to pull in the right support. And I think this is an interesting thing too, is your idea of what the expression or the experience looks like is of joy, of enjoying your life, is a transformation through whatever you kept yourself from experiencing at some other point. That in the movie, by the end of it, Adam Sandler is so sad and has this moment with his kids before he dies because of how maybe guilty he's felt. And that's something that I know that is a part of Cancerian internal dialogue, is that guilt. And I know what that can feel like to be read like that, but it's really important that you allow yourself to experience whatever the opposite of that. There's a lot of different medicines, like Ayurveda is one of them, and so is the yin and yang, so that's why it makes sense for you, is that sometimes doing the opposite is what balances something out. It becomes sattvic, it becomes ease, it becomes peaceful, not like that really loud noise that you may have heard from the sirens, right? It's after the siren, it's the calm after the storm. or it's giving yourself the same thing, right? Sometimes that actually cancels it out. And what it reminds me of is going back to math and absolute values, which was so weird, but having like the negative plus the positive minus, or whatever it was that minuses out. I'm not going to try to think about math right at this moment, but I know you could go both ways. And that's where your intelligence lies, is that you can traverse. But right now it's also about being very adamant by caring for yourself means expressing yourself in the ways that is actually helping you through this transformation that has kept you from expressing yourself, the love that you want, the communication that you want, the way that you see yourself living in the world, and how expansive this can be. How this place in your love life is actually, what I think people don't realize sometimes is why certain signs like Leo, Gemini, air signs, Libra, when you're disciplined, when those signs are disciplined, or when certain, even Capricorns, when you're disciplined in a certain area and you're putting that kind of effort that you need to get out of you, that maybe even that joy expression, that creative expression out of you, you're then able to be very serious about your joy, serious about what makes you happy, what brings you out of your shell, for yourself to experience the vulnerability so that you become resilient. So this is like people who are afraid to be out in the world after, the pandemic happens, and I can understand that. And also we still need our bodies to be able to handle some resiliences that we can't see coming, because you can't, you can sit here and say that we could read the future with these, right? This is another way of expressing the tarot. But is that really helpful all the time? No, because it's you trying, because then you ever see movies where people try to manipulate what happens because they want to get to what they saw in the future, but because they do that, they change everything and they feel worse when they get there. It's that overarching sense of control that you may be getting down to, because that's what you're realizing has stopped you from truly getting something out there into the world that you've been wanting to get out there. And it's through Cancer rising, Scorpio in the 5th house is going to be more perfect. And, your talents, I think that's what's going to ignite your talents. The 2nd house, 2nd, 5th. 2nd is a mirror of 5. Another thing you might love to hear. But this is also that expression, you being very open about the transformation happening in wherever your talents lie, and showing people that process, whether you show them in real time or you record it, record it through whatever way you need, your form of media communication is. It can start one way and evolve, and that, but bringing people through that process is something that you can also be really helpful in, whether you know that about yourself yet or not. You may need to experiment with that, because you can be a great teacher in that avenue. Not that you're trying to control the experience of what's being taught, but you have great ways to implement what a good teacher can do, is teach people through experience while knowing that they're going to have their own, and being able to be detached from that. And I think that might be one of the greatest forms, in most highest forms of Cancer, when you can really tap into that, because it is the mother. How do you be all loving and caring while also being detached from the experience of the person who came out of you? Right? Don't diminish that. That's anyone wanting to just diminish that just hasn't had that, or doesn't know what that feels like. And I know your love can feel like a huge wave coming towards you, or the person, or the thing. So let your love transform you. Let your words transform you and bring you into a greater connection with your ideas, because your emotions can really make things happen right now. And your vulnerabilities, and your confidence in your vulnerabilities, because if you look back, that's where it starts. It's not how it ends, but it's how it starts. And it feels like it's how it ends because it always starts that way. You know what I'm saying? So traversing this right now, we have the Knight of Cups, the Death moving forward. Venus is in Libra as well. So you may find like this very solid foundation you find yourself on, and you feel very connected to the people who in this moment, for this time being, you are meant to feel connected to. By the end of the month, that might look different and might reveal to you as you move through this experience. You'll see like the true gap between, I wanted to use another word besides gap, but the true bridge gap, whatever it is you'd like to see it, between the people who you are truly connected with, close to, and the people that don't value you as much. You'll see where that separation happens, and where committing to yourself in this place is because any discipline is a commitment. So wherever this is bringing you and transforming into your relationship with yourself, with others, with your partner, with maybe you're single and you're wanting a relationship, this is transforming you into the person to be in that position, regardless of what that is. Whenever you deeply commit to something and move through that process and are ready to feel what on that level and that layer, normally you'll really start to see, especially in an eclipse month, things will start to reveal themselves to you. Knight of Cups to King of Cups, Six of Cups. We have the Six of Cups too to the Seven of Cups. We have all the, and then if I pulled up more sixes, we'd have a lot of sixes out of here too. So that's like the beginning of cycles as well. That your stability within yourself, and to hold more money and to have more ideas and even utilize more money, that's going to be apparent. Your love life will then flourish in the way it's meant to flourish, and I don't think you're a sign that ever gets like worried about that. You have such a ease with being able to be in and out of these settings of connecting with people, so I wouldn't worry too much. And if you are feeling worried, I would just notice, what is the worry coming from? You have such a opportunity to get really deep rooted with what vulnerabilities have been stopping you in your life. And you also may find yourself wanting to speak to those people and declare boundaries and declare where you are right now. And for those of you who don't have that overpowering feeling and feel more shut down in those moments, remember that the opposite is going to help you. Revealing yourself, revealing where you are, revealing what's necessary will help any confusion to the emotional strength that you have by standing, I keep hitting this, sorry desk. You standing in your ground enough emotionally, not needing, and this is for a few signs, but this is very Venus and Libra, not needing that approval, not needing that, because Venus will then move into Scorpio in Libra season, and you'll want to know. Trust me, you'll want to know, and I know you know, but it's who you want to then move forward with. And because I think sometimes you're afraid of wanting to know that, but you really need to know, and the reason why it's coming up a lot, if this is coming up a lot in your life, is because you actually need to know. Because you actually need to see what the subconscious was revealing to you, and how people can attach themselves to you and vice versa. And you have other dreams now. There's more out there. Uranus went retrograde in your career and public roles, so that's going to be until January. So this is preparing you ultimately to step further into where you seek and how you're going to be seen and how you operate with the world. So naturally you're going to start to see and observe and find where, I love this, the 10th house is where you can see yourself becoming more self-aware through others, through the way people treat you. That is very Libra as well. So this is a great time to be so emotionally stable and strong and clear with yourself, because you want to see where others stand. especially for business strategy. You want to see where you can become more confident in your vulnerabilities, and you can also see where some people are, and you'll be okay with it. You'll not be wanting to attach yourself as long as you clear up your side, right? You won't want to like try to attach yourself to anybody else, because you realize how hard it took and how long it took to get that cleared up. So being disciplined is just respecting your life in a whole new way. And that's a whole new shell. That's a whole new sacred space. That's a whole new, like, you'll be inside and realize, like, oh my God, you move a few things in your house and holy shit, your life feels different. You feel like you're in a different world. So if there's also something, if there's any interior that in your life that you're wanting to change, or your clothing and how you appear in the world, it will really speak volumes, weirdly enough. So if you don't give a fuck, don't give a fuck, Cancer. Show it, be seen, and you won't be seen. Plenty of it. And I'm really excited to get into the second part. I hope you enjoy being here as much as I enjoy being here for you. I always learn something about your process, and it's pretty incredible. Cardinal sign to cardinal sign, I'm here for it. We're ready. I'll see you in the next part. That's in the first link below. That's on Patreon. Then they come out at the end of the month, just for a little reflection in the month past. If sometimes it's a nice way to read it, but you can also, if you sign up on Patreon, you will get them first. And all information towards me is below. All right, Cancer. We'll see you there. Have a great month.